Good job failing with Alex, you got here first.
Hello. Hello, Mike. Work. Thank you. That's just out of cookie crumbles. Hehe. Okay. What else? 6.9. The credits is filmed in front of a live studio audience. Viewer discretion is advised. Okay. Okay. I wanted to, one, show off the new pixelated variant of the fighting Mara. Two, I don't know. Maybe I'll switch to face later, but right now I just don't feel like showing off. Like, not showing off, but just not doing it. Alex, did I show you? Hold on, I can pull it up on my phone and switch right then and there. Alex, did I show you the new minnow? To the life of VTubing. Did I show you the minnow? The new paper minnow. I have not. I made them cuter. A shit ton cuter. And they have this brown outline that makes them look kind of like they're off of a character sheet, which is exactly what I was going for. And then we've got two that I haven't used practically yet. We got Comic Marrow, probably my favorite of the bunch, next to Monster, in which you can still slightly see through the back of his head, which was perfect, because that's the art style I was going for. And now, every time I talk, instead of his eyes moving to the screen, his eyes show up in the first place. This guy I went with more of a scribbly art style with a shadow background. It looks good. It actually looks good. And then I recently remade my fighting Marrow to have this, like, I took it into Sprite, shrunk it down, recolored it, and made it bigger again, while also changing what it said on the hat, because I think Let's Rock is a way funnier reference to me. I know you won't get it because you don't play fighting games, but I get it, and that's what matters. But I am going to try and see if I can stream this game. Because I do not know. This has 3 out of 8. This usually means you can... Ooh, what the hell? Where am I at? I wonder... Oh, there's only 3 in here. Never mind. 2 out of 8, 2 out of 8, 2 out of 8. Okay. I guess I'll try this. If I'm playing ranked, I need to be running my boy... Where's he at? There he is. Azrael. With color... Where's it at? 12. I like the technical one. Button layouts are all good. Couldn't find... What? What? What do you mean? Okay. Alright. Of course, if anyone redeems push-ups or sit-ups or anything, I'll have to switch. Oh, while it searches, I can play something else. Okay. That means I have time to get my hands warm.
Select your character.
I don't care who the other person is, so. Oh shit.
Here comes a new challenge.
Never mind. No time. No time. The only move is kick. I haven't played in a bit, so I am probably gonna die. My thing is fucking. Please don't kill me. I hope this runs clean. If it does, that means I can do this game.
The wheel of fate is turning. Rebel 1. Action.
Oh my god! I got hit once! You insta-bursted on that shit? Hold on. I got caught hitting the button. Fuck. I can't get out! I couldn't even land. Jesus. Alright, no problem.
2. Action.
I did it on special. I haven't played in too long. I press the button. I quite literally cannot get out. I'm trying. I can even block. Are you shitting me? I don't even have burst. Jesus Christ. Oh, I gotta get my hands warm. I ain't taking that one laying though. We bet you, right? Motherfucker. Jesus. He whipped the shit out of me. Oh, because I just looked at his matches. He's at 400. Jesus Christ.
The wheel of fate is turning. Rebel 1. Action.
I should have kept blocking. I got greedy. Oh, that is a really fucking long super. I need to stop doing that. What I need to do when I do that is go forward, not backwards. What I keep accidentally doing is quarter circle back, which is giving me that special. That special is really slow and really easy to punish. Yeah, but I just keep doing it out of habit. I know it's not good. I'm pretty much sure I have the wrong game plan here. First. I dodged the wrong way. I'm gonna get punished for that. Yeah, that's the one. Like I just did right there. That was the wrong. Oh my god! Yeah, that's it. Damn! I know I can do better than that. That's what's pissing me off. I just started playing, I'm already pissed. I know I can do better than that.
Please select your character.
Okay. Slayer Keller is necessary.
Azrael.
Random.
Iron Tiger.
Actually, that might mean a bad character for me because I need a smaller character.
Ragna the Blood Edge.
Ragnar the Blood Edge. Okay. Let's try to warm my hands up. Let's try to get back into the groove. Hi, coffee. That's the move. That's the move. That's the bullshit that I need to get up to. It's just forward C. That's the backhand. That's neutral B. This move deflects projectile. Or. I didn't know he had. Oh! Oh my god, you're huge! Howdy, howdy. Backseat is good. That's got okay. That's that back towards the other one. Yeah, it does. Forward air. There's the. Oh, this has a follow-up. Let's see. See if I can remember my. Not looking for training setup. Command list. Full Spartan. Gustav Buster. Tiger Magnum. What's this one? Oh, he has a charge move?
Here comes a new challenger.
I'm so glad this one's clean, dude. I've been wanting to fucking stream a fighting game for my PC for such a long time. Oh, fuck. It's the cat girl. God damn it. I hate this motherfucker.
The wheel of fate is turning. Rebel 1. Action.
Do not make me do push-ups mid-set, dog. Fucking in the wrong special. This motherfucker just said Tatsugeki. Whoa. Nice. That's good. That's awesome. That's that fucking. What? Oh, I forgot you have like shit. I did not mean to burst in her face. Yeah, okay. I'm broken the wrong spot. Okay.
Rebel 2. Action.
You guys suck. I know you can get him too. Oh my god! I went for a grab, I don't know why I did that. Fucking wake up super. Oh fucking please. I got shit. Ooh! No! I love the breath. I love the fucking super. I'm not even mad. Fucking 1 pixel all in super. That was fucking awesome. That was fucking awesome. I gotta remember that I'm finding people who are way better at me than this. Or who are way better at me at this.
Rebel 1. Action.
Tree trunk! Ah, you play fucking Jump Force, Lamau. I used to play Jump Force too. Finally a follow-up for that move. I was looking for one. Well played. Stop specialing, you idiot. I'm talking to myself here. Don't try to hit me with a fucking tornado, dog! Give me some respect. I got him with the fucking crawlers. I got him with Ragnarok. Nice catch on the Roselia.
Rebel 2. Action.
I gotta remember my bullshit. Whoa! One bit of chip is all I need. Got it. Okay. Got a can of horror.
Rebel 3. Action.
Alright, let's go for... I did not get to go for Dunk Start. I regret everything. Whoa! Whoa! You got a can of Magnus Glove tonight. Whoa! Oh god! Ah, I woke up into it. Fuck. I woke up into their super. That was great. I got my ass reamed by a fucking cat girl. Jesus. That was fun though. Okay, I got push-ups and sit-ups. Got it. Fucking hell, I got reamed! I'm on it, calm down. Bring it in. Shit. The fuck did you just call me? The fuck? You bitch. Alright. Just for fun? Oh yeah. That could be pretty fun. Alright. $69K chips. Hell yeah. What happens at 60? I forget what happens at 69k. Do I have something for 69? No, I don't. He'll try to stay in Germany until I graduate. I don't. See, you just like funny numbers? That's fair. I tried to give you what you wanted, and that was in price inflation. I give you price inflation, and nothing gets redeemed still. So, for max bullshit and this, I like big saving, I'm sorry. So don't complain to me. True. I can't say much because you've donated enough bits to get freaking mean mugging. Wait, is that leave? That actually was pretty cool. I'm trying to remember what those Panzer Strike. Performs a knee kick while ascending upwards in the air. Parafocus.
Here comes a new challenger.
I got some water. Alright. I'll have to wait till after this match to do the bend them bones. But I assure you I will bend my bones. I have 0 wins on the card. Ooh, cinematic fight. Oh, hell yeah.
The wheel of fate is turning. Rebel 1. Action.
Oh my god! That was such a fucking fast slow. And that was an overhead. Okay. Oh my god! Couldn't fucking breathe, dog. I gotta punish this dude for hitting buttons. He's hitting a lot of buttons, doing a lot of shit. I can't punish him though because he's hitting buttons and doing a ton of shit. I wasted my burst being an idiot. Oh my god. Made it down to 22C. Hell yeah.
Ragna, win.
I don't know what you're referring to, but hell yeah.
Perfect.
I got perfect.
2. Action.
Alright, it's not perfect anymore. I got a hit. I didn't have time to block. I'm just never gonna be able to move now, am I? I can't even burn. God damn it! Why is it? What? He got his health back? Hold on! What is this bullshit that I'm getting hit with? What in the bullshit? Oh, 22 Celsius. Nice. That's still really high though.
Perfect.
I got double perfect. That's bullshit. This is bullshit. I haven't gotten a single fucking win yet.
The wheel of fate is turning. Rebel 1. Action.
Fuck! I messed it up. Fuck! I can't even get out of a fucking I can't even burst out of this. This is bullshit. Ah! can't burst, I can't roll, I can't do shit. All I can do is hold. I blocked that! I didn't even push any buttons! That's wild. I didn't even push any buttons, I just held back and died. All because I rolled wrong.
Ragnar. Rebel 2. Action.
God! Are you shitting me? I hit one hit. I didn't get to follow it up. He just took his turn back. I didn't even get up. Actually fucking wild. Combo to throw into it, and then he waited for the roll. Like, I couldn't physically move. Okay, this wasn't perfect, I guess. God damn. I guess I'll do the stretches real quick. Holy shit. I didn't even get to move. Like, he just beat this shit out of me. Today really just felt like a fighting game day. And finding out that this works makes me very happy. Because that means I get to play it. Which is muy bueno. Oh shit. That seems alright. I wish I knew what that thing did. Delayable. Cool. Growler field. Okay. Okay, so you do this. Press the wrong button. So you would do this, absorb a projectile, and then throw it back with this. And if you don't have a projectile, that counts as a DP. Oh, fuck. They're playing Aegis. It's not actually Aegis. It's called something else. I just call it Aegis because they look like fucking Aegis from Persona.
Rebel 1. Action.
Fuck. God damn it! I got caught pressing A button. Not even a multitude of buttons. Just A button, singular. I don't even get to move out of the corner now. Cool. Go for it. Everything seems to be running clean, and I'm not doing art, so it should be fine.
Rebel 2. Action.
Are you shitting me? Can we fucking get a hit? I guess technically I already did, so. Alright, we're fine. You can kick my ass again. I got a hit in. You got so much for so little. Like, I set this all up mid-fucking combo. It didn't even look hard. That's the funny thing, though. It probably was extremely hard. Out of the two of us, I'm playing the brain dead character. This time without the music. Okay.
Mew.
God damn. Hi, Jam.
The wheel of fate is turning. Rebel 1. action.
I'm not getting that. Fuck, she got that surf in the middle of the goddamn combo again. Whoa, you can do that? Cool. I tried too much. I got too greedy. I got greedy. Okay, I understand. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I put myself in the corner like a dumbass. No. I don't even get to move. Okay. I messed up. I lived? No, I didn't.
Mew. Rebel 2. Action.
No. Ow! I was blocking. I literally never stopped. I missed an overhead somewhere in the middle of that. I'm not getting perfected. I'm gonna get perfected. I don't even get a hit in. Cool. I'm just gonna get my ass kicked over and over again. Cool. I didn't get fucking hit. Just play the brain. I'm playing the brain dead character. That's what you don't understand. This is the brain dead character. I got an inside joke with my friend. We call him Tree Trunks because I can do this shit that goes all the way across the stream.
Here comes a new challenger.
The fact of the matter is, I'm just a little brat. Oh my god! Okay, but hear me out. Hear me out. This can be a learning experience. I can learn how this game's supposed to. I can learn how this character's supposed to play neutral.
The wheel of fate is turning. Rebel 1. Action.
That doesn't break shields. Good to know. Woo! That cool. This guy knows his combos. This guy actually knows his shit. Let's go. I don't. Oh god! What the hell was that bullshit? I want to do that. Okay, so that does have a little bit of it. I don't know how to do supers. Every time I go to check, I get pulled into another match.
Action.
Oh my god, you got to do the cool looking shit.
In my dreams, I have a plan. If I got me a wealthy man, I wouldn't have to work at all. I'd fool around and have a ball. Mommy, mommy, mommy,
The
must
wheel
be
of fate
funny.
is turning.
In a rich man's world.
Action.
Money, 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 always funny. In a rich man's world. Oh, oh, all the things I could do. If I had a little money, it's a rich man's world. It's a rich man's world. And I try to sort to find, but I can get enough money. And you say, that's too bad. So I must leave. I have to So let's wake up from Monaco. I
Rebel
could
2.
never in the game, my life would never be the same. Money, 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 must be funny in the rich man's world. Money, 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 always funny in the rich man's world. Oh, oh, all the things I could do if I had a little money. It's a rich man's world. Money, 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 must be funny in a rich man's
Rebel
world.
3. Action.
Money, 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 always funny in a rich man's world. Oh, all the things I could do if I had a little money. It's a rich man's world. It's a rich man's world. Like that pain, pass it down like butters on the wall. Mama said it, it's to blame, but that's a steady swallow. There's no one left to call. May have come down the days to make you escape. If you're afraid you cannot run, what's running through your veins? Oh, you're carrying the weight. In the dead of night, on that broken road, I won't let you walk alone, oh my brother. You don't have to follow in your bloodline. Yeah, we got each other, and if you got tomorrow, then you still got time. Like these chains that left you scarred, where you came isn't who you are. Oh, my brother, you don't have to follow in your bloodline. I won't pretend that I know how fail you've seen, but that don't mean it's something that you're destined to repeat. Oh, you're stronger than you think. Yeah, that's right, but you don't know where to start. You can pack your bags, I may meet you where you are. I'll be waiting in the car. In the dead of night, in a broken road, I won't let you walk alone. Oh, my brother, you don't have to follow in your bloodline. Oh, we got each other. And if you got tomorrow, then you still got time to break the chain that left you scarred from where you came. Oh, my brother, you don't have to follow in your bloodline. The song keeps on raging, but don't you forget, God's not done with you yet. When it feels like you're losing the war in your head, just know this isn't the end. Oh, my brother, you don't have to follow in your bloodline. Oh, we got each other, and if you got tomorrow, then you still got time. Break these chains that left you scarred from where you came isn't who you are. Oh, my brother, you don't have to follow in your bloodline.
I can go for another one if you want.
I feel the holy water watered down, and it's none of its face. All colors will fade. Eventually, the time is running out. Day after day, we make them mundane. I'm masterpiece. Oh my, oh my love. I take one look at you, you're taking me out of the ordinary. Haven't you laid me down to a dead and bed? I'm the edge of your night, staying drunk on your vine. The angels up in the clouds are jealous, lonely from silence alive of the ordinary. You got me kissing the ground of your sanctuary. Telling me to talk, the Lord is to me to die. The angels up in the clouds are jealous, lonely from. Oh, bless hallelujah. On the side of heaven, still. All my life hallelujah. Breathe and take my breath away. If you want to so furnace. Oh my mind, it's taking me out of the ordinary. Why won't you lay me down to a dead and bed? On the edge of your night, staying drunk on your vine. The angels up in the clouds are jealous, lonely from the love of the ordinary. Silent kiss on the ground of your sanctuary. Telling me to be tough, the Lord would turn me to dust. The angels up in the clouds are jealous, lonely from coming so heavenly. And in there, coming there to me.
Here comes a new
My
challenger!
love, on a second word, until I saw your light. I thought you had to die to find someone to love
Ask.
of the ordinary. I never been down to the dead and
The
buried.
wheel of fate is turning.
On the edge of your
Rebel
night,
1.
staying drunk on your
Action!
vine. The angels up in the clouds are jealous, lonely, find someone to love of the ordinary. You got me kissing the ground of the sanctuary. Telling me to touch, oh, to tell me to go. The angels up in the clouds are jealous, lonely, find.
You have to hold up when you hit lower weak point the second time before.
Action!
Oh. Okay. Thank you. Also, welcome in. Were you the other Azrael I fought? I know I fought another Azrael. He was fucking insane. He was awesome. Yeah? Dude, you are fucking goated. I'm just kind of trying to figure out things and getting my ass kicked in the process. So, like, finding another Azrael player was so goddamn good because I got to learn a little bit of how the neutral works.
The wheel of
I was gonna
fate
try
is
and join player
turning.
games, but,
Rebel
like,
1.
yeah,
Action!
didn't really work out. I figured the best way to play online in this game was to just go straight to, whoa. Oh. I really appreciate that information. Ah. I just don't get to block. Okay. Cool. I had like 4 moments there where I could have gotten out and I pressed the wrong button and the back in their combo.
Action.
Like, my brain can comprehend it, but my hands just don't see it until it's like way too late. I could have done better that one.
Jin, win.
So, hold the hit. Hold up when you hit the lower weak point the second time. Or forward when hitting the upper one. Let's see. That one's not good. Sentinel. Oh! Okay, I see it. You can hit 2D set weak point. T140 set and hold up. Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm trying. When it comes to fighting game talk, I'm like fairly shitty. So 2 would be, I gotta think hit stick, so light punch, set the weak point, and D14, so it, or 214, so it'd be D, so no, 2 refers to the position of the controller, so it would be so no, it doesn't. What am I talking about? Yeah, 'cause D refers to hit buttons. Down D, quarter circle, back D. Okay, thank you. So down D. Ah, okay. So that is that. And then you hold up.
Here comes a new challenger.
Okay. I should probably stop taking like ranked matches while doing this, but whatever. The only one way you can get better, right?
The wheel of fate
I've been in
is
this
turning.
situation before.
Rebel
In this actual
1.
matchup too.
Action.
Well, I try it if I can get a hit. I know how that fucking counter shit works. Don't act like I don't. Whoa! My health meter, my health bar, my health bar just disappeared. Woo! Jesus. I just gotta sit the fuck down.
Hakumen. Rebel 2. Action.
ここだ死ねそげほらうろうろしてだぶん殴りやろどけクソがほらうろうろどけよそがまだタイガーコブラ
I thought he was gonna go for a counter, so I went for a grab instinctually. Fuck that piece of shit. Okay. Alright. Stop it. Fuck. God damn it. Plays him like trash. My big problem is that when it comes to fighting games, I freak out and will just start hitting shit. And sometimes that ends up really good, sometimes that ends up really bad.
Wheel of Fate is turning.
On most occasions, really bad.
1. Action.
ほらまだ後ろだ前だ誰死ぬ戦地だクソが追ってる
What? How did the grab miss? Ah, I blocked high on accident. I fell for it. Oh. I gotta play better than this.
Rebel 2. Action.
Fuck. Piece of shit. Okay. Okay, so he's just gonna keep going. Got it. Which means I just have to bait. I like it. Ah. Ah. I'm dead. He did the fucking counter super. Hi, Jam. He did the good shit. I did not. God damn. Hey, this is your first time here, Lycan. That's kind of surprising. It was very good. GG's, yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to give you the best fight I can. I'm not that good. You got me with some pretty good fucking counter supers right there. I kind of played into your hand like a goddamn fool. GG, sir. Thank you for the game. It's a plural. It felt like one fitting how fast you kick my ass. I gotta remember I can do that. Oh yeah, I found out recently I can change my model through my phone. So like, I can go from this one to this one really fucking quickly. And it's really funny how fast it transitions. And how the model actually moves because my models aren't set up. Aren't all the same. So I can like quick swap models now, which is really neat. Like it's so cool. Oh, you can't see my pocket on this model because it's too. It's I guess you can. It's slightly short.
じらすなよ死神
Let's see. So down D in the quarter circle, back D.
二度は言うのかもなね
Oh, that's what that meter is. Ah, okay, I see it now.
二度は言う食べよのかもなね
And then you hold up to follow. Okay, so you do that. Oh my god, that's so cool. That is so fucking cool.
二度は言わん
And
食べよ
let's see.
二度は言うのかもなね
So if you hit.
のかもなね
Okay, so that's what those do. Okay, okay,
手
okay.
が出ねえか
Oh. I am so thankful for that teasing yell, guys. Oh my god, I'm gonna hit someone's bullshit. I'm gonna go for someone's bullshit now.
雑魚がのかもなね
So it gives them a delay.
食べよ二度は言わん何だとほら二度は言わんほらゴミ食べよのかもなねほら
Oh my god!
お仕置きだ
Oh, I'm so fast!
うぜゴミほらうぜ
If that, you can do that much bullshit with just that, I wonder, like, this character's all bullshit. I'm so excited.
二度は言わんうぜ雑魚がのか何だとかほらうぜほらうぜバカが潰れろバスター潰れろ潰すゴミクズがうぜ潰すほらほら潰すうぜバスター死にて潰れろバスター潰れ飛べようぜ飛べのかもなねのかもなね
So if you put a wall limiter, it will just... You can just keep pressing Y. That's probably an optimal. But god damn, does it feel cool.
二度は言わん食べのかもなね
Let's see if I can actually hit something, man.
Challenger.
Let's see if we can actually hit some shit. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Cause if Queenie comes back, do you? No, not at all. If I didn't want you guys here, I wouldn't have joined a VC that was publicly accessible. You're fine.
The wheel of fate is turning.
Oh, you a
Rebel
bitch!
1. Action.
You play this motherfucker. I hate this motherfucker. Oh my god. I hate this bitch. Oh, I gotta show my pal Lance this shit. If I can get a hit in. I need a hit. Why? I didn't even push a button. Insta burst, okay. Insta burst from the bullshit. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay.
Rebel
Okay, okay,
2.
okay.
Action.
ほら下だ
I have to limit his grapple usage or punish it heavily. Unfortunately, I can't do either because I keep getting my ass kicked.
次はないぞ次はないぞ痛恨ほら痛恨の一撃ってやつだ
He broke out! Okay, so you can break out. Good, man. But the good thing is that I got it, and I didn't freak out so much that I didn't. Oh! He just insta got it. Ah, I can't get out. Okay.
俺の獲物だ
Okay. I hate this bitch. Full force passion. I hate this bitch. Not the guy playing, the character he's playing. Hazama gives me fucking like ugh. I have a friend who plays him, and every time he plays him, he does a fucking Joker voice. He's like, I'm in the wrong game,
The
Batman.
wheel of
God,
fate is turning.
you.
Rebel 1. Action.
Not even because of the character. I think the character looks cool. The fucking Joker suit is what pisses me off. Wow! You went for some bullshit off rip, huh? I'll go for some bullshit too. How about that? And then you ain't gonna die. Matters if I hit it. Did I waste it? Absolutely. Ah, okay. Look at this clown who can't play fighting games. Yeah, I know. I'm not that good.
2. Action.
You're fucking overloading my PC, you bitch! Ah! Motherfucker. Woo! Got him! That's one round. One more to go.
Rebel 3. Action.
I caught it. I'm sorry. God, this bitch. You wasted your points? You did. I don't think I can. Not right now, at least. Oh! That's right, I can do it on my phone now. I remember half this shit I can do on my phone now, because they updated the way Switch works. Ew, that was a voice. No predictions, channel points. Those are all the old ones. Jump scare 1 minute ago. Refund. There. Everything else is marked as complete. I will be right back. Just give me a sec. Emote only. What? Well, no. Okay. I didn't mute my mic, so I should not. Is that? Is that you talking? That's awesome. Hold on. Let me turn up your user volume. There we go. Hello? Oh, I have not been. Yeah, if you guys want a private call, you can. I'm just gonna be playing fighting games and getting overly hyped about shit. So, that's not a problem. I can confirm your thing works though, so you're fine. Okay. I'm just gonna order a pizza real quick, and then I'll get back into another match. I just wish that this game had like music that played in like the menus or something. Okay. Okay, it's up to 25 minutes, that's fine. No, I can't yet. It's the same guy, I can't, I'm sorry. Let me withdraw the entry real quick. What do I want to eat? I'm gonna get my usual. It's funny how 5.6 headphones don't have battery. They just don't. Sorry. Don't need gluten free. Classic crust, cheese sauce, those off. Those. Also, I forgot I was unmuted. I didn't hear you, so you're fine. I heard you for like half a second. I'm getting stuffed crust on my pizza because I want stuffed crust. You know what? I'm adding herbs and fucking pineapple. I want pineapple on my pizza today. And a big ass drink. I want a big ass bottle of drink. And by that I mean a regularly sized Oasis. But the yellow one, because I like the yellow one more. Alright. Time to order a pizza. You want pizza? Order a pizza. Do it. You won't. Perks of having money, of making money. I get to order shit like pizza. And no one can stop me. You won't because you're broke? Damn. Sag. Dog, you wrote that backwards. You're supposed to write idiot wife, not wife idiot. Idiot. You dumbass. You can't spell. You can't shit talk when you can't grammar, dog. Funny, isn't it? You know everything I want to do, which means I know everything you're going to do. Funny. My wife isn't denying it. She won't talk to me when I go see her. That's what I meant. Bruh. She's just playing coy. Alright, it's on the way. Damn, my husband called me an idiot. He did. No! I'm an idiot. I'm the truest dumbass here. God damn it. Motherfucker. Ah. Fritz and me are the idiots who yours. Brother. Do not drag me into this. All three of us here are absolute fucking idiots, and that's why we're so lovable. Don't shock me in with the two of you. I may be an idiot, but I'm older than you both. Make me a more mature idiot. There's a Krabby in chat. Yeah. This is my rank up match. I haven't won one. Oh no, I know this one. I've played this character once. I know they have some serious bullshit. Whoa! Whoa! Okay, I might have gotten tunnel vision. I got tunnel vision and it's killing me. I can't even roll out. I got fucking mixed. Fucking mixed.
Rebel 2. Action.
I'm out. Whoa! I'm getting my ass shit rocked by a small school child. Let me out. Let me out. I don't want to be in this. Let me out. I have to wait until my fucking... Ah, I got cold on the roll. I'm dead. That's the wrong button. Nice catches, you two. You're bored? Fair enough. Sorry that I'm boring. Damn. Learning D-pad.
The wheel of fate is turning. Rebel 1. Action.
Let me go. I just wanted to play the character with a funny Slayer costume. Let me go. God damn. No, she can't. No, you can't hear it. I'm just sitting here getting my shit rocked over and over again. It's obvious which one was what's boring here. Ah, you just kept waiting until I fucking got mixed, you asshole.
I'll get back in town. And haven't changed your way, but you let off up and down to the little man. Now need good help to do. Wow, you're so fucking stupid. Been around since I had no solution. I see no my word. So you wanna fight me? Are you big enough? With the back of money, are you serious? I keep on trying, boy. I like your blood on my teeth, just a little too much. So bite me, slap me around the face. Now I'm just in your arms till I get back. I just song every day. Yeah. Little girl gone, got a gun from a gangster. Run, little girl, bang. Say that again, I didn't quite hear ya. Mess with the wrong bitch in the wrong year. I've been at work and I got my bitch up on. Honey, I've changed so much since I saw you. Head to my head, I have everything you did. Ding, ding, earrings from my dinner you did. I did a punch back into a corner. Come at me, don't tell me I did them on you.
Yeah, your Fuji
You
does
think
work.
I'd be easy? Slap me like Rambo, and into the sound of your track book. Wish I could bottle the pain. So you wanna fight me? Are you big enough? Get the back of money, are you serious?
Your mic only
You
picks
keep
up
on
you
trying,
singing.
boy. I like your blood on my teeth, just a little too much. So bite me or slap me round the face. Now I'm just in your arms till I hear breath. I could song every day. Little girl gone from a gangster. Run, little girl, run, little girl. Say that again, I didn't quite hear ya. Messed with the wrong bitch in the wrong year.
Ha! I
I've
heard you
been at
giggle.
work and I got my bitch wrong. Honey, I've changed so much since I last saw ya. Head to my head, hide everything you do. Sing from my earrings, from my
Okay, it's this
debut. Cause
motherfucker again.
I take a bunch back
Here comes
into
a
a
new
corner.
challenger.
Come at me, don't tell me I didn't warn ya.
Alright. Piece of shit. Run it back.
Little girl gone, got a gun from a gangster. Run, little girl,
The wheel
faster.
of fate is
Little girl
turning.
gone, got a gun from
Rebel
a
1.
gangster. The I've
Action.
changed so much since I last saw you. Hands on my head, high every day. I take a bunch back into a corner. Come at me, don't tell me I didn't warn you.
Oh, I got it! I got that shit! Let's fucking roll, buddy! We probably didn't hear it because I started screaming, I'll be honest.
But I'm a master, and she's up in the middle of the bone, yeah. That's why I want you. It's a hero, the villains in
Oh
this
fuck!
place.
You can't just
Presidents
raw
in my
super like that!
headphones, even if I'm sends in my way. There's parts of me I cannot hide.
Rebel
I've
1.
tried and tried a million
Action.
times.
Come
It's my
on.
heart and hope to die. Welcome to my dark
Why didn't I
side.
think...
To my dark, dark, dark side. To my dark, dark, dark side. Dark, 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 dark side. To my dark, dark,
Ah, I did fuck up.
dark side. There's another habit, living is even
Fuck!
a habit. I'm
Fuck!
walking the line with Titanic and losing my mind, embracing the madness. The devil is in my ears, deafening me with all my fears. I'm living in a nightmare. There's parts of me I cannot hide. I've tried
Damn
and
it.
tried a million times.
Rebel
Cross
1.
my heart and hope to
Action.
die. Welcome to my dark side. Ooh. to my dark, dark, dark side. Ooh, to my dark, dark, dark side.
Air throw!
Ooh, to my dark, dark, dark side. Ooh, to my dark, dark, dark side.
Insta burst is good to go. Ah! Wait for it. I guess the same makes every time. Now he's gonna wait. Go for the same mix-up. I still fell for it. Got it.
Dark side. Oh,
Rebel
to
2.
my dark, dark, dark side. To my dark, dark, dark side.
I saw it. Sorry, just get better timing. I will not stop doing that. I have a very proactive mind.
That's what happened. She put up with it fast. Lost my something. I'm playing a game another way. I just like little someone who has never surprised change what I'm so my what's the lie? What is true? How do you find my life? Such a shadow, such a song, clinging to sanity or embrace a fantasy. You seem to walk so mad with me. This game's
Oh my
begin.
god, finally another level 1! Holy shit, that took so long to
Going
find!
hard, spending the stuff, looking at me now.
Oh my god, he's on the same launch streak I'm on.
The wheel of fate is turning.
I only pain in red now. But in the
Action.
tears, significant heels, slipping in all your now.
He's got like a
I want you to
fucking
not even like
rubber
this.
sword.
I say I'm not gonna speak and select you about the red of five times. I'm giving up. This is only one talk. I only pain in red now.
Oh, I won.
Rebel 2. Action.
Wonderland was coming.
Ooh, nice running grab. That was nice.
Touching his heart, touching his thoughts, touching his being now. How doesn't catch out, tell him about this line of feeling. Turning the dogs, up to the side, I want to see the there's this on the red now. Anything in red now. Sitting here, the music you hear, sitting on. And what you do, not even let the crazy. I'm not speaking to let you about. And the right inside, the times I'm giving up now. It's on the right now. And I understand in red now.
Nice!
Thinking
And
why
she
you
got a win!
didn't think I could be right.
Woo!
That's for free. Are you scared of me?
I won. He just starts
I'm not in it, hiding around.
I got 1 win. I have a 4% win rate. Motherfucker.
Fate is turning. Rebel 1.
Nice.
Action.
Instant overdrive. Okay. If I find anything, I'll just leave it. I'll be honest. I don't want to take time away from you and not because I can't stand it. Well, Not that I
どうした
can't stand it, it's just that, you know,
Two. Action.
ほらゴミ
keep saying if it gets too much, because fighting games are very sound based as well as like graphics based. So like a lot of things you can feel coming before you like your visual auditory processing is really good. Oh my god, I should stop trying to explain how this shit works while getting my shit mixed. While having perfect auditory process. You've mussed it up. I don't know why you even went for that, but you did, and you fucked it up. I don't know why I went for that.
楽しかったぞ
See, I have a
そこ
problem,
で
but I
昼寝
don't
で
want
も
to
し
be
て
rude
な
to people,
狂犬野
so
郎
I won't just be like, ah, shut up. I will never do that to you. Yeah. You do have a wonderful singing voice, I assure you. Damn, he won a fight and still has a 0%
Rebel one.
Jeebus.
Action.
痛えぞもっとあがいてみろもっとあがいてみろ
You can't you can't just go for instant overdrive. Like, you do a lot, cool, but like, you're also sacrificing an entire burst for that.
Happy married all the children, and it's all I say.
二度は言わん
Happy you married all your children, and it's all I say. I gotta set the face, and have no bum broken like your rose. I got to you can get the real texture, but something on the way back. Say. Happy you married all your children, and it's all I say.
No, I'm not losing like that. I guess I am losing like that because I accidentally burst.
You married all your children, tell me so I say.
Rebel two.
Oh, it wasn't sorry for me, you couldn't take your leaving. The stories that you keep inside your head. You can't keep them all afraid,
don't get
they
back
will
up.
die and be afraid. Mother, tell me so I say.
Don't just go for instant fucking overdrive. It's not gonna work.
Tell me so I say.
Panic overdrive is not gonna get you what you want, right?
Tell me so I say.
下だおろ食べよ黒者めさいさいゴミケツがヘルスゴミケツがデッドスパイクあらがおろスナスマグナムおらゴミケツが
Married all your children, tell me so I say.
どうだっつってガン
Happy
Oh, I'm at 9 out of 10 shit.
married all
Oh,
your children, tell me so I say.
たぞそこで昼寝でもしてな狂犬野郎
Ragnar win.
my spiteful nature kicked in, and I ended up just losing.
段位が上がったぜおめでとうさ
Yeah, we ranked up each other. Oh, it's already joining. Okay.
Let me come flying away. Never tell me you listen.
We don't fight
Let me
mothers here,
come
sir.
flying away.
Here comes a new
Leave that mother
challenger.
alone, Nox. Really? He quit? You bitch! Sorry. You can't throw hands with a mother. He is a motherfucker, but he's not a fucker mother. He's not about to fuck your mother.
tongue is sharp despite the attention. I'll let the mud fight. There's no one I wouldn't fight.
We don't
I
fight
don't
mothers
like
because they're the first to
confrontation,
call the
but I'm
cops.
staring at the smoke.
That's the main concern.
Couldn't see my eyes go red up.
You started
Take
giggling,
how
let's
I
go.
felt.
You broke! Let's fucking go! I clear off your tempo by making you laugh. Fucking beauty. Hate me all you want, it only makes me stronger.
Someone part of sad, cause it's easier to focus. I'm just surprised above my head. People think I'm pretty
Bring it, Knox. I will drag your ass through the
without
mud.
attention, it's just an agreement.
I heard an echo of my own villain laugh.
You text me, my time is coming, and you see I didn't touch up. I guess I made on 93.
I can hear you having to stop. It's quite hilarious.
But you never own my heart, you on the side of this pathetic eye. You think you're
Please
being
select your character.
innocent parents make stupid kids see apple never stays. They want to sell the compromise, and the ego never pays.
I knew it was. I was waiting for the for now.
Anything for 20 bucks to feel
Name the
like
time,
a
name the place. I'll be
There's
there.
no one else so good to say you're sleeping up so far. Sitting in the bathroom, I'm sobbing citrus tears. Everything I ever loved decay. Hate over the years.
The character select music in this game kind of goes hard. Hold on. I'm not doing this to be mean. You can't. Wow, you can't go into the sound settings and change stuff while looking for something else. That's wild. Let me make sure I re-enter. I've played 23 matches. I've won one. Like,
Please select your
you're a
character.
beast. Get beast. It's been forever, dog. How you been? How's the Bloons verse going? Is it like still kind of trash? How am I? I've been doing great. Trying different games. I found out I can stream this one and that it works. I've been doing shit tons of art. You quit a long time ago. I can't blame you. I can't blame you. I tried it. I played some battles the other day. Just for nostalgia purposes, and like it reminded me of all the shit that was wrong. Like I got hype, like hella hype, jump out of chair hype because I beat a BTN. Like it was great, but then as I kept playing, there were just more and more and more and more, and it just kind of dampens the mood, you know, which really kind of sucks. Like, it's not...
Azrael.
It's still the same toxic cesspool that it was before. Can I give... Oh my god, these ones have different faces. That one has a different face. I know there's some Guilty Gear reference character color schemes in here. I have a friend who plays Arakune and uses this color scheme, so I'm just gonna use this one. Did you get any girls or nah? I did! I did! And it didn't end up well, but I did! You! This guy!
Here comes a new challenger.
I did gain a girl because I quit battles too. I did. You motherfucker!
Please select your character.
Jesus. God damn it, man. Yeah, it didn't end well though, so.
Azrael.
Back to square one. It's fine though. We keep going. We move on. I just want that guy to fight me again. I know I can kick his ass. I know I can. Bro, I had a crazy blow up. Only not to giggle when Chris is listening. Uh-huh. Sure you did. Is that just Raiden? That's just fucking Raiden from fucking Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. Every character has some sort of... Like, I know there's probably a Guilty Gear color in here somewhere. Alright.
Here comes a new challenger.
I don't need picks. I'll be honest. I'll take your word for it. Just tell me you had a crazy glow up. Why? Why can't I just get a game
Please
now?
select your character.
Just give me a game. Let me fight somebody. Please. I'm going back to singing. Alright.
Azrael.
How am I supposed to get better as a player when all these motherfuckers ain't here?
I don't be walking around this old and empty house. So one way and I walk within my dreams. I scream, I should sleep, it's keeping me awake. It's a house 7 years ago
Here
today.
comes a new challenger.
And some days I can't even trust
Oh my god, this
myself.
one's working. Yay.
Can you be you this way? So that you may very less should not carry on, but be safe to show.
Oh, come on.
Please select your character.
Some bullshit.
Azrael.
There's an old voice in my head that's
Arakune.
holding me back. I'll tell her that I miss a little time. Soon it will be over and buried with my past.
His background music will be called The Tyrant.
I don't know if I am long away.
早く来い今日が覚める僕は違うぞ僕は違うぞ僕は違うぞ
Just so that you
ザ
may
コが
hear
上
it.
だ
Just like you
僕はもう
find it.
Here comes a new challenger.
And listen to what I say.
I might go through depression. My homeboy cheated on me with a thing called girlfriend. Dog, I did not cheat on you because we were never together. I'm sorry.
Carry on.
ザコが上だ 二度
So I
は
can
言
do
わ
that.
ない
No. This and you.
二度は
Quarter circle back. That. Oh. Alright, that's
二度
fine.
は食べよ
Doink, 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 doink.
お仕置きだ
The fact that this is even an option.
二度は食べよ
Give it out, give it out, give it out, give it out, give it out.
食べよ バカが食べよ
No, wait for me. I see you.
I'm young, that is crazy. Alright, let's run it. Who am I fighting? Holy shit. He's got a picture of Faust as his picture. That's awesome. I want a picture of Faust. I saw one dude with a picture of just boobs. That was wild.
The wheel of fate is turning. Rebel 1. Action.
見えるか見えるか
I heard boobs. Yeah.
二度は言わんくたばれ
What about him? There's a dude with a profile I can't see here.
ゴミ
Oh. Oh? That's wild.
Rebel 2. Action.
ゴミく叩く
Fine by me. German's a cool language.
手ぬるいやつだ
Scheiße. I'm sorry. Very minimal German. That's everything I have. Oh, shut up. He quit! He quit out! How dare you! Give me my fucking ones! Give me my fucking ones! That bitch won't eat. Which bitch? Cat? Oh, I thought you were talking about Knox.
値しないぞ二度は言わん
Same looking. So what I'm trying to do here, for those uninitiated for what I'm trying to do here, give me this fucking corner real quick. Yes. So trying to hit this into this into... I can't do it. Is it... Am I doing the wrong command, maybe? Sentinel dump. That's the move.
No, the fire moonlight presents for kiss and her body fit within my hand, la la la. I feel like oh la la la, I love when you say
The wheel of fate
That's a
is
big sword.
turning. Rebel 1. Action.
I meant to, I meant to do a light. Whoa, she was low blocking. Okay.
その
Whoa.
調子で
Whoa.
But there's some things that never change if they were just friends. What can some other ways taste like?
Pull a bigger sword out of her ass.
Undress me, help me, yes, man.
その調子
I
で
love it, just to steadily don't stop, I love it, man.
メイドのおかげだ
And you
Ship the brain.
just
Ah, good call.
Rebel 2. Action.
ほらしてね 持ってこいあがめ次はないぞその調子さあ
Not what I meant to do. Fuck it, we ball.
痛みを知れ
And just like that, I died. I didn't die, it's an install super. I died, it's an install super.
ほらと
Fuck!
ほらしてねあがめ次はほらと
Oh, my stream froze!
対象の殲滅を確
Shit.
Persona de daños me gustaste, me gusta ya, me gustaste, me gusta la mañana, me gustaste, me gusta evento, me gustaste, me gusta sonar, me gustaste, me gusta la mar, me gustaste. ¿Qué voy a hacer? Yo no sé pas. ¿Qué voy a hacer? Yo no sé qué. ¿Qué voy a hacer? Yo sé todo. Tengo razón, mi corazón. Me gusta la moto, me gusta esto. Me gusta la vera, me gusta esto. Me gusta la vibra, me gusta esto. Me gusta la vera, me gusta
Oh, I
esto.
just
Me
waited.
gusta Mariana, me gusta esto. Me gusta Granada, me gusta esto. Me gusta la gana, me gusta esto. Me gusta no sé. ¿Qué voy a hacer? Yo no sé pas. ¿Qué voy a hacer? Yo no sé pas. ¿Qué voy a hacer? Yo sé todo. ¿Qué voy a hacer? Mi corazón.
Yeah, but they refuse to believe that they're a good singer. See, even chat agrees you're a good singer.
Action.
Jerk.
Me gusta esto. Me gusta la medicina, me gusta esto. Me gusta esta canción, me gusta esto. Me gusta canela, me gusta esto. Me gusta la cuchara, me gusta esto. Me gusta la...
次はないぞ
¿Qué voy a hacer? Yo no sé pas. ¿Qué voy a hacer? Yo no sé pas. ¿Qué voy a hacer? Yo no sé todo. ¿Qué voy a hacer? Mi corazón. Me gusta esto. Me gusta el pliego, me gusta esto. Me gusta la mamá, me gusta esto. Me gusta cafeína, me gusta esto. Me gusta la compañía, me gusta esto. Me gusta la Catania, me gusta esto. Me gusta Guatemala, me gusta esto. ¿Qué voy a hacer? Yo no sé pas. ¿Qué voy a hacer? Yo no sé pas. ¿Qué voy a hacer? Yo sí sé. ¿Qué corazón, mi corazón? Yo no sé pas. ¿Qué voy a hacer? Yo no sé pas. ¿Qué voy a hacer? Yo sí sé. ¿Qué voy a hacer?
Not what I
Mi
meant to do.
corazón. Yo no sé. ¿Qué voy a hacer? Mi corazón, mi corazón.
Got a can of goop juice. Very nice, Pixie. I know it's not on brand two right now, but still. Sorry. I'm getting my ass kicked, Pixie. I'm getting my ass kicked. Wanna hear French? Sure. It's called Pixie Pie. Who is Pie? A question. What is a question? What is said question? Oh, dear does.
Comes a new challenger.
What is the question? Freezing cold or hot as fuck? Right now it's really hot here. I wish it was cold as shit. He has a Slayer! He has a Slayer profile picture.
The wheel of
I'd
fate
rather
is
it be fucking
turning.
cold though. I like it when it's cold.
One. Action.
Oh my god, I caught him! Caught him again. I'm really fast air dash. Right. He has too many chains. I can't roll right. You fucking roll, you bitch. I can't break or nothing. Ah, I got kicked the fucking.
Rebel
お望み通り全力で
He did very much. Okay. How is Alex today? Okay. You just wanted a jump scare. Sorry, I didn't have my headphones on for a second. I need to stop and breathe. Just been lurking? Hell yeah.
Hey, what's up? Hello.
Okay. You get them for free! Okay. Alright. I hate to have to leave like that. I just... something... I couldn't anymore. Her singing's great. Her singing is fine. It's not easy to listen to someone sing while playing a fighting game. And like, I'm still waiting on a pizza to get here, and I'm kind of hangy. So like... I'm not... It's a lot of auditory processing that I'm going through at the moment. Like, it's not you. Your singing's fine. but when dealing with a fighting game and just getting frustrated and being a little hungry, it's just a lot. Sorry, I don't mean to be an asshole. I don't mean to leave like that. It's just it was a little too much. My pizza's here. I will be right back. '13 soundtrack. Yeah. Oh no, no, no! You don't have to stop. Oh, you have to stop anyways because your throat. Okay. I really don't mean to offend. I really hope I didn't piss you off in any way, shape, or form. I told you I would. If I got a little too much. So. Okay. I got my pizza. I got my pizza. Everything's gonna be a-okay. It is. Alex, I did something, and it's very funny. I added pepperoni to my usual pizza. I'll come back. Let me sing now. Fuck you. I mean, no. I'm sorry. Pepperoni's the go. I got my usual pizza, but I added pineapple. So it's pepperoni, jalapeno, onion. Oh, Knox. Okay. So it's jalapeno. Miles let me alone and call. That's my bad. He has a tendency to follow me. Because he's a creep. No, I'm joking. So I got my usual pizza. It's jalapeno, pepperoni, onion, with a stuffed crust. I love me a stuffed crust. And pineapple. With the Domino's herbs. I don't know what those are, but they sound good and they smell good. Like they smell really good. I don't know what this. I'm ordering this every fucking time. Maybe sometimes without the pineapple. But oh my god. I don't know what these fucking herbs are, but they're awesome. I can hear say something about stuffing, but I won't. Good. Hey Pixie, are you a crust? Because I could stuff you anytime. I mean, what? Stuffing dudes. What? Oh, I don't know.
Here comes a new challenger.
Boy, over here looking like a Build-A-Bear. Want me to stuff him myself. My what?
力を持つも
You might have
The
fixed your
wheel
mic.
of fate
Ooh.
is turning.
That's what I come back after that.
Rebel 1. Action.
This is running very slowly. I got to watch it in slow motion. Okay. That one I'm fine with disconnecting out of. That was awful.
Hey, what's up? Hello.
Nox, how dare you call me out in the lobby chat? Or the Radio Shack chat? Also, Nox, you can load up that Fujitech on your phone, download the pictures, and just switch. That's what I've been doing with mine. Like, I can pull back out my fighting game one. Now that I know I can do this, it's gonna be great. That's fair. I'm muted still and hungry thanks to Fritz. You're welcome. I'm a very good friend. For that purpose and that purpose alone. This fucking pizza's amazing. Is this what heaven is like? Pizza, games, and friends? I think it is. I think it is. I wish every day could be like this. Oh god, that's jalapeno. I will just make you both eat. How about them apples? Damn. I can resist. If you resist, I'll make sure I find a way to get you to eat. I'm a very persuasive person, Nox. Don't underestimate how far I will go to make sure someone gets what they need to do. I just realized every time I talk with this model, he looks like he's falling asleep. I think that's kind of funny. But I can be a very persuasive person. If coffee wasn't, neither do I. Well, then I'll just make you both eat. How about that apples? I didn't say I was just gonna do it to one of you. I'm gonna do it to both of you. Don't call me a dimple. Yes, I have. In fact, this boy over here, Nox, I made him an emote based off the fear emoji. I don't even think he realized. I don't think I have any JoJo-based emotes on Twitch. On my Discord though, I do have one, and it's the what's my favorite stand? Ooh. See, it's favorite stand and favorite character switch. Favorite stand is the little bomber, so Aerosmith. Joseph Joestar is my favorite character. He really is. Joseph and Jotaro are like hand in hand for me because they're both amazing. I also really like Jonathan. But for favorite stand, I'd probably have to go with Crazy Diamond. Crazy Diamond is probably one of my favorite abilities in anime. I have to make the distinction though. I like young Joseph. Old Joseph is cool, but young Joseph is way cooler. Nothing wrong against against old Joseph, but young Joseph better.
Rebel 1. Action.
You like part 4 too? I really like part 4. My favorite part is definitely part 2. Part 1 and 2 are my favorite ones, but for the stand era, mine is part 4. For the non, you kind of have to make the distinction. I'm excited for Steel Ball 1 to drop. I haven't finished Stone Ocean. I probably should.
Rebel 2. Action.
Oh, you got me. Part 1 was not buns. Part 1 just deserves a certain amount of appreciation because it was trying to be Fists of the North Star. Part 1 was trying to be Fists of the North Star. And I respect it for that.
Win.
Favorite villain? Dio. Dio by far.
The wheel of fate is turning. Rebel 1. Action.
Kira was good. I liked Kira, but Dio had a presence to him. It's not that he's overrated, it's that he's perfectly rated, because he's exactly what you think he is. Like, you thought this was a you thought this was a competition? Kono Diora. I need a hit. I need to get a hit on this guy, please. Thank you. Thank you for letting me get that hit. You can kick my ass now. Thank you very much. Both Dio and Dio Brando. Dio Brando. Do not just my boy Dio Brando.
Action.
Very close to cussing my cat out in full German. See, the thing about Dio Brando is that he was the first villain, so him being overly villainous is perfect. His cheesy goofball, like, not goofball, like cheesy, overbearing villain, like, his whole persona was perfect. Like, down to the last minute detail, was perfect. Because he was made directly to counter Jonathan. And Jonathan... And Jonathan was like our overbearing, overly positive, like he's the OG guy. See, while I understand why people don't like part 1, because that's before the stands, and that's before like the crazy shit, and that's when Joseph wasn't ripping out Tommy guns. You have to give it its respect, because it didn't know it was gonna blow up and become this. Bucciarati is good. I like Bucciarati. I can't roll my tongue right now. Caesar! Yeah, Caesar's great. Speedwagon. Speedwagon alone. You're talking about Caesar. Bruh. Kakyoin and Speedwagon are right there. Speedwagon set up Jonathan so much, he set up his future fucking generations. Speedwagon is the best Joe bro. I will not hear any dissing on that. That man's got crossed up.
Wheel of Fate is
Literally.
turning.
I don't want to hear it. Speedwagon lived till he was fucking...
One.
Speedwagon died of old age. He freaked out. He burst in midair. I'm just gonna say it. Speedwagon is the best Jojo. I'm gonna burst you in the corner, dog. He got the grab. Nice. I need a hit. And he won. He just won. I missed the mix. Fucking hell.
Rebel 2. Action.
Jesus. I don't have a burst. I can't get a hit in. Of course I like Giorno. Of course I like our Deus Ex Machina character. I don't know. Overdrive exists. Overdrive exists. Stardust Crusaders exists. Oh, I might be dead. I'm not. I am. I'm not. Are you serious? You got a pretty solid lineup of picks there, I'll be honest. I can't say any of those JoJo themes are bad though. Like the worst of the themes is probably Jonathan's because of how basic it is. But after that, every other theme goes hard as hell. Including I'm not worried about Part 8 coming out. Wait, they just announced Part 6. Or Part 7. Like, and we're only getting to GTA 6. We are not getting fucking... How long it took for us to get a GTA 6? I don't think.
おら潰す潰す
行きます邪力放天時
おらゴミくずが
ジュ
がとなる潰すおら
これはいきません
ゴミくずがおら
どうぞ切り裂け邪魔水中火山
How did that catch?
まだ壊れないでくださいね
手ぬるいやつだ
いかがですか当選
Part 8 took 9 years to get finished in the manga. Yeah, but now it's out. You gotta think.
できればもう立てないでほしいの
Rebel 2. Action.
当選1
おら
当選1
ゴミくずがそっとあがいてみろゴミくずが
足元がオス
潰
です甘いですよ危ないな
たられゴミくず
これはそれ
どけバカがゴミくずがバカがしたしゃがめ
それ
食べよ
これは
手ぬるいやつだ物見手ぬるいやつだ
切り裂け
光る
切り裂けこれはいきません
それ
危ないな行きます邪力
Nah.
先がつきましたか当選1当選1
Got it. Part 7 isn't even out yet. Like, the anime for Part 7 isn't even out yet. Like, calm down.
Rebel
You gonna take even longer than anime?
3.
Not really.
Action.
当選1
I mean, they now have Netflix on their side, so like,
潰す
これは
wow!
手ぬるいやつだそうが二度は言わん
危ないな危ないな危ない危ない伸びろ
よく動く食べよ
伸びろ当選1
少し本気を出す
I'll just pop shit on you, dog.
お前切り裂け
Or not mean to grab.
当選1
Alright, see you later.
行きます
Thanks for popping in. Lovely seeing you.
生意気だ小賢しいカヌ
お待ちこっちですよ
どけゴミくずが
危ないな危ないな
二度は言わん
それ
Good grab.
抗えよバカが下だ
危ないな
食べよ
お待ちなさい
Oh, you lucky bitch.
食べよ
これは行きます
Let's get super. Oh my god, I just looked at my health.
とっとと
I need one hit so that he...
上だ
お前それ
Oh!
それ
I need to stop screaming.
さて本部に連絡しお座りお手伏せってあららもう遊ばないんですか芸のない犬は面白くありませんね
Got my ass kicked. Alright. Hi, Queen. Or drunk. Oh, you made another song? Nice. I was just about to read out, so you get to join in. I'm gonna go ahead and drop this in chat. I don't know if you're in my Discord, but I would gladly hear that. Jim just used the corporate takeover one. Yippee! Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and close this. And I will catch you all next time. This is 106.9 The Creots signing off. I would happily hear your song. Happily. I'm reading out. Don't forget to copy paste the raid message. I have a spot in the Discord open for you. You can join that too. I love you all. I'll catch you all next time. I'm gonna go raid my friend. Goodbye.